Welcome to Yukon Valley, Chichiko.
Hello and welcome to Yukon Valley. It shifts up to my top spot favorite map ever at times. Not always, but you know, it gets there. But by now you probably know the drill if you've seen any of the other videos in this series. We're starting out with classes, max levels, all the other things. But really quick before we get into that, just pay attention on screen for something cool that I got while I run through the list. So starting off with Class 1, you have a Harlequin duck and a Canadian goose. Class 2, a red fox. And then a big gap. Class 6, you have the caribou and the gray wolf. Class 8, the grizzly bear and the moose. And Class 9 for plains bison. The great ones on the map are the moose and the red fox as of right now. Max levels. The Harlequin duck is level 3. The Canadian goose is level 5. The red fox is level 9. So you'll see the guy that I spot shortly is a very low level, but nonetheless very special. The caribou are a level 5, gray wolf level 9, grizzly bear level 9, moose level 5, and plains bison level 5. And there he is. A piebald male red fox. Not my first, but it's been some time since I've gotten this. Even cooler though, I think he's like the 4th harvest I've gotten on the map so far. Now if you want to talk what weapons I recommend using on the map, base game, any shotgun will work just fine. I do suggest the Cacciatore because it's going to give you more shots in order to get as many waterfowl as possible, because the flocks can be fairly large. Your Class 2, since it's just the red fox, I would honestly stick to that 223 because it's fairly light and you don't need it for like a Class 3 or a Class 4 animal. When you hit Class 6, I would suggest the 270, but with polymer tip bullets, because the soft points on the 270 kind of messed me up later on in this video. But Class 8 and 9, I would trust nothing more than that 338. And another thing to point out here on Yukon is this was the first map to come out with dynamic weather. So instead of rain, it snows, and as you see by the landscape, it does progressively go from green landscape or red landscape, depending on where you're at, to snow covered in about 20 seconds. But it's the first map that we had that on, and now we have that additionally over on Sundar Patan. If you want to talk DLC weapons, I suggest the 10-gauge semi-automatic Strandberg Executive from the High Caliber Weapon Pack DLC for the Class 1 and the Class 2. The specific 10-gauge plastic birdshot is good for Class 1 and Class 2. For Class 6 and 8, I would suggest the 7mm Malamute. I can't even say it. The Malamur 7mm Magnum from the Hunter Power Pack DLC. And then when it comes to the Class 9 animals, I would actually stick straight up with the 300 Canning Magnum that comes with the Yukon DLC. Cannot recommend that rifle enough. That was the OG, like, really, really incredible weapon for Class 7 through 9. Because it had 4 rounds. Whereas the previous weapons we had encountered for Class 9 were 1 round only. So if you want to talk about where to find the animals on this map, if you want to talk about Harlequin duck, stick to the river basin and the bankside timberlands. The Canadian geese are going to be in the Crown Gold wetlands and the Crimson Plain, as well as parts of the Yukon forest, but like not very far into it from the eastern side. The red fox, I find them pretty much everywhere. The caribou, I find in the Hanson River Basin, the Bankside Timberlands, and also on the northern portion of the Crown Gold wetlands. Gray wolf, they are Yukon Forest, Crimson Plain, and like the western section of Bankside Timberlands. Grizzly bear are pretty much everywhere. Moose are pretty much everywhere. And the bison are going to be Crimson Plain, Yukon Forest, Crown Gold Wetlands only on the western side. And then maybe like a little tiny portion of the river bankside timberlands. But as you can see, I found a nice wolf trophy. Max level. He went aggressive, which this map has 3 aggressive species on it: the gray wolf, the grizzly bear, and the moose. But I botched him, and then it turns out he trolled. Altogether, I think it's a fantastic map. It comes with a great DLC weapon. It's got a decent mission system that doesn't feel like... the mission system on Yukon doesn't feel like it takes me forever to get through the main storyline. I enjoy it. Highly recommend it. Tell me how you feel. But first, a quick little pit stop into the trophy lodge here for that piebald red fox. I thought originally I had a spot perfect for him and I was going to tuck him in here on one of those little round platforms with a multi-mount with the other piebald fox I had, but it was slightly too big for that, so we ended up over here in the bar room in the corner where I used to have one of my like 4 piebald pronghorn, and I tucked him in with the other guy. The previous was a 10.8 from 2023, this guy's a 5.7 now from 2025, so 2 years apart and half the size, but it's still nice to add to a multi-mount and make them look good together, you know? But that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you for hanging out with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time over on Watch Row. Bye!